ASX Market Watch. This week I'll be looking at 3 different charts, but very quickly, just trying to keep the time down for you guys so you don't have to spend too much time looking at it, but you get all the goods. We'll be looking at the ASX Top 200, which is my favorite barometer for looking at the overall market and which way we should be trading. For instance, if the market's heading up, we're taking long stocks, taking long positions in stocks. If the market's heading down, we'll be taking short positions in stocks. Looking at the FTSE 100, which is over in the UK, and also just looking at a single chart, which is Wesfarmers. This is a trade that I've actually taken recently myself, and I've actually used pyramiding techniques, so I've doubled up my position on this stock, and it's been quite a tasty little trade. It's been quite nice, actually made a little bit of money, and I'll show you how to pyramid and how to actually enter that stock and where I would put my exit signals as well. So first things first, thank you very much for joining me as well. I just want to say, it's excellent to have you. It's really always so good to have you here, and I love chatting about the market with you guys. And so thank you very much for dropping in. This first chart is the ASX Top 200. Now, it's been an extremely interesting week. We've got fantastic news. We've got the US has just come out of recession, and we've got a very bullish looking chart. For instance, we've been able to draw in our uptrend line with higher peaks and higher troughs, as you can see. We've been doing that for a while now, probably for the last 6 months. And the reason why we've got the uptrend is because we've crossed our longer term downtrend. For those of you who have been following for a while, trend lines is probably one of the simplest methods that I use, but probably one of the most effective as well. So where are we at the moment on the ASX Top 200? So the market has crossed below the short-term uptrend line, but it hasn't been able to really stay below the previous trough, which is this level here at around 45.80. So 4,580, that's really the level that we're looking at in the short term. And basically, if it crosses that, we're looking at a next level of support at around 4,400. So short term, 45.80, long term, 4,400. If it crosses any of those, we're looking at basically bearish signals. As it stands, we're still in a bull market, according to trendline theory. And basically, the market we can expect to take a little pause, and I'll go into that in a little bit more detail if you like, basically because the market goes through trends and consolidations. As you can see, we've got our uptrend here, consolidated for about 2.5 months, uptrend for about 3 months. We could probably expect it to consolidate for around 2 to 2.5 months again, and that would be a healthy way for the market to unfold. So that's what I'm hoping for, and then we're going to get a few more market positions or entry signals to come out of that consolidation. We're looking for breakouts out of that consolidation. Anyway, next one is the FTSE. I hope that all that made sense, and I hope that helped you a little bit. If it doesn't, please drop me a line. I'm at asxmarketwatch.com. I'm happy to help out and happy to answer your questions. The FTSE 100 index. This one we're looking at our uptrend line as well, longer term uptrend line, and we can draw that in because we've got higher peaks and higher troughs on the FTSE index. Now, what we're looking at with the FTSE, this is just magical, because our longer term trend line that we've been looking at for ages, guys, in the last sort of 5 to 10 posts, I've always, in the FTSE, when I've reviewed it, have looked at this longer term downtrend line, and as you can see, it really can't reach it. It knows that resistance is there, and people have started selling off early, which tends to happen. So that resistance is still hanging overhead, guys. What we're going to see is it's probably going to consolidate in and around this level between these 2 posts here, because we've got our longer term uptrend line and our longer term downtrend line. It's got to break out of one of them eventually, but which one will it be? Chances are it will consolidate in between these 2 posts for a while, and again, that would be a healthy thing for the market to do. The market can't go up all the time, and it won't. It really has to consolidate some of the time. On the FTSE, in the short term, looking at a close below 49.50, and long term, looking at a close below 47.30. I hope that helps. That's for bear signals, guys, but at the moment, again, still would consider it in a bullish sort of phase. At least according to trendline theory. So now the last stock I'm going to look at is Wesfarmers. Now this is a single stock on the ASX Top 200. It's a trade that I've taken recently myself, and let me show you why. The reason being for Wesfarmers, here's our longer term downtrend line. Okay, it hasn't crossed that. I'll give you that. But look at our shorter term downtrend line. So this is something that I drew in probably about 5 to 6 months ago. It crossed it. We've got our first entry at about $20.70. That's not actually the entry I took, so I didn't actually get in as early as I could. We're not always there to take every trade, unfortunately. I wish I was. So where was our next entry signal? Well, we've got our uptrend line. Now, as you can see, if anyone is keenly spotted, we've got two triangle patterns here, and I'm going to show you where they are. They've formed over 2.5 months, which is perfect time period. Like, it's a great amount of consolidation. When it breaks out of 2.5 month sort of consolidation, we usually get a nice spurt up, which we have. So here we've got our three peaks actually, 3 troughs in a nice little triangle pattern, and that is where I have bought my first lot of Wesfarmers, which is around $23. So it's broken out of there. That's your first buy. Now, that's all very well, but what happens if you get another entry signal? Well, basically what I would do is add another position to the stock. I mean, if you're still getting entry signals, then technically you should be following your rules and you should still be entering the stock according to your rules. So where is the next triangle? As you can see, it's just formed a couple of months later, which is a fantastic thing. So here is our next triangle, and it's broken out of that at about $26.80, which was my next buy. As you can see, it broke out, but then it went down. So that was a little bit of a nervous period for me. I thought I was going to have a losing stock. I put my stop below the previous trough at $25.30, which is pretty much a standard thing to do when you're looking at triangle patterns. So I put in my entry, put in my stop, and it was about to hit the stop when it gapped upwards, which is great. Some positive news came out, which usually will happen, except the market usually knows the news before us regular investors know it. So that's why we follow the chart, just to follow where the big boys are putting their money. And as you can see, it's worked in this instance. So now that's sitting at a nice healthy profit, and I've doubled up my position basically. So I hope that has helped you in looking at where, in the future for Wesfarmers as well, we would be looking at bit of resistance in the long term from that long-term trend line, as I mentioned before. So, I mean, that stuff really works, and the market will usually find resistance there. If it doesn't, that's going to be an extremely bullish sign, so that's going to make me even happier. Now, I hope all of that has helped you guys. Like, I'm sorry if I ranted on, but, you know, I do get excited about the market. I think it's a fantastic place to be. It's a great challenge for yourself, and it's a great place to make money when you know some simple rules to enter and exit. And I hope to be able to sort of give you some of those rules and help you out in that instance. So, guys, thanks so much for dropping by. I really enjoyed chatting to you about this stuff, and I really enjoyed sharing these ideas. And if you do have any questions, please drop by the website at asxmarketwatch.com. There's a full free investment course there that I've done it myself, just about rules for entry and exit of the market, and how to win more and lose less, which is what it's all about. So guys, thanks again, and I'll see you next week.